Welcome to FirstTouch. I'm going to walk you through how you can set up your account, connect your LinkedIn and your HubSpot, and launch your first flow. So to start out, you're going to want to connect your LinkedIn account. If you go down here to User Accounts, hit Add Account, you can enter your login information for LinkedIn. Then you're going to want to read through the safety checklist and check through these boxes, and then finally hit Connect. Now that you're connected, you can move on to connecting your HubSpot account. To do that, go to your team settings, hit integrations, and here you'll see a place to connect your HubSpot account. We are already connected here, so I won't walk you through that exact setup, but you just hit connect, and then you will approve something inside of HubSpot, and you're all set. FirstTouch is going to automatically sync activities like connections and messages over to HubSpot. So here you can turn that stuff on or off. It's on by default, and that will show up in your activity feed for each contact that you send a connection request to or a message to, as well as the replies. And lastly, you're going to want to add other members of your team. So here you can invite additional members. You can set their permission level and send out invites so you can get your whole team on board. Next, let's set up your first flow. To do that, go over to Flows on the sidebar, and up here at the top, hit Create Flow. This is going to bring up a window where there are a bunch of pre-built recipe cards that you are welcome to start with, or you can create one manually. So let's go ahead and use this inbound lead template. Once you create a flow, you're going to need to select a trigger. You can select from a HubSpot workflow, in which case you would enroll through our native action card. You can use a HubSpot segment, pulling from any list that's already built in HubSpot. And then there are a few additional options for importing from a CSV, from Sales Navigator, or using manual enrollment from our Chrome extension. Let's start with a HubSpot workflow. Once you create the flow, it's going to open up the flow settings. Up top, you have team members. These are all of the people that can send connection requests or messages within the flow. So if you want to add additional members of your team, you can. Enrollment priority determines how this outreach is queued. You are limited to a certain number of messages and connection requests you can send per day. So we set those up, and if you have more than you can send in a single day, we push the rest out to future days. So with enrollment priority, if you select low, that means that any activities that come from this will be pushed to the bottom of the queue. Medium is first come, first serve, and then high is going to push activities to the top of the queue. Next, we have data enrichment settings. This is going to allow you to grab information from their LinkedIn profile, their company profile. If you are syncing data to HubSpot, I highly recommend selecting Enrich Email, since email is required. You can also enrich your phone number. We also have ownership assignment settings, so you can select from a HubSpot contact owner or company owner, as well as manual selection. Lastly, we have settings to create tasks and enrich records in your CRM. So if you create a manual task or you have an approval, FirstTouch will push that to HubSpot as a HubSpot task. Once you're done setting up, hit save, and you can start building your flow. Similar to a HubSpot workflow, there are triggers and there are actions. So we've already set up our workflow trigger, and now we can add a series of actions. Because we built from a template, there are already some here, but you can add new actions anywhere you see this plus sign. And that's going to pull up a sidebar where you see all of the different actions you can add. So we have social actions where you can view their profile, you can send connection requests, and you can send messages. You can send emails, you can create call scripts, and you can set manual tasks for anything else that doesn't fall into one of these categories. We also have agents. There's a qualification agent that allows you to input information about your ICP, and then it will filter out anybody that doesn't meet those qualifications. There's research agent, where you can ask questions and our AI will go out into the world and find answers for you. And then you can leverage those answers in AI messaging when you send messages and email further along in the flow. And then there are a few operational actions. You can do conditional splits. For example, in our flow here, we have a conditional split based on whether or not the assigned owner is already connected to that person on LinkedIn. We have manual assignment. Again, if you're not using the default contact or company owner, then you can do a manual assignment here. So those are all of the different actions. Once you've finished building out a workflow, you can see at the top the approximate number of credits that it will take to run, as well as your total number of credits that you have currently. If you click enrollments, you can see any enrollments that are currently in process. You can see any that have completed and ones that are awaiting enrollment. Enrollment mode allows you to change how contacts are enrolled. So you can auto-enroll all. As soon as they get added to the trigger list, they will go ahead and proceed through the flow. You can auto-enroll new, which means anybody who is existing on that list already does not get enrolled, but new people will be enrolled. Or you can do manual, in which case you will have to manually click run to enroll each member of the audience. Once you've built out a flow and started enrolling some contacts in it, you should start to get tasks. So this is going to be approvals for messages and connection requests. It could be manual tasks, but you will be able to see your tasks here. You can edit messages, you can approve and send messages. Then once you have started sending stuff out, if you go to your outreach queue, you will be able to see actions that have already completed as well as ones that are scheduled for the next few days. So now that you've launched your first flow, you should be able to go to your dashboard and start seeing these metrics start populating, and hopefully you're seeing some great new connections and messages being sent out and relationships being built.